Alright, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We have this DIY radio kit that I bought on Amazon, and instead of fixing something, we are going to try to build this radio kit, which I have never done before. These little kits are really good for soldering practice, which you can never have too much soldering practice. And there's all kinds of like DIY soldering practice kits out there. There is alarm clocks, signal generators, all kinds of stuff. But I just wanted to do a radio because I thought this radio looked cool. And it's just a little radio, as you can see. And hopefully we can figure out how to put it together. It does come with these instructions, which I'm sure these are going to probably not be 100% accurate or easy to follow, seeing as this is a little cheap kit. But we're going to try our best. I am just going to follow the steps, I guess, and every time we do something, we'll mark it off with a Sharpie. When you're building like component kits like this, or just putting anything electrical together like this, you're supposed to start with the short components and work your way up to the taller components. Because if you put all the tall components first, you have less room to solder and whatnot. So I guess the first thing we should do is just make sure all the components are actually here. So here is our PCB, which we will set aside, and then let's dump this stuff out and just make sure we have everything we are supposed to have, which I don't know. So find out with me. Some resistors, a button, and wires for battery or DC jack on, but there's a switch to speed. One switch. Capacitor, this just look at the parts list and make sure we have everything. And a PCB, which we have. So we do have everything. So let's go ahead and we'll make sure we have a good tip on the soldering iron. I think we'll go with this guy. Okay, turn soldering iron on. Alright, now I guess we will flip this over. Ooh, I should have thought about that before I marked it. Oh well. We're just going to check these instructions just to make sure that they kind of go in the order they're supposed to. Like as I said, smallest, shortest component to tallest component. And so we'll kind of do that. Resistor, that's short. Capacitor, that's short. Crystal. Alright, I think we're good. So I'm just going to set my instructions right here, and I will read them and mark them off as we go. So we'll grab our, and first thing is 4.7 ohm resistor. We'll go ahead and make sure we get the right one. Alright, 4.7 ohm resistor. And then the next is the 220. Alright, this one, then that one. Oh, it's even kind of marked on the board, which is a little bit helpful. 4.7. So you must go here. 4.7. And 220K goes right here. Next is all of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, and make sure, let's just double check that these are the 10Ks, just so we're not putting anything where it's not supposed to go. 10K, okay. Whoa. Alright, we got our resistors placed. Now we'll go ahead and zoom in. Go ahead and zoom in for the soldering. So there is our resistors all placed. And we'll go ahead and flip over and try to get this guy all soldered up. Flux and solder. And we'll just try to keep this guy in frame and make sure we got flux on all those guys and try to solder these guys all down. Try to make sure we got each one soldered down, which it looks like we did. Oh no, we forgot this guy. Meters beeping at me. Looks like we got them all soldered. We'll go ahead and just do a wiggle test just to make sure we got all of them. And try to see if there's any solder bridges, which it doesn't look like there is, and just give a quick wipe down. I know we're gonna have lots more flux on this thing by the time we're done, but it's just a lot easier to see bridges or anything if you wipe the flux off. Alright, those look alright. Let's go ahead and mark it off on our instructions. First 3 steps down. About 25 more to go. Alright, the receiver. Pay close attention to the installation direction. Okay. And this is our receiver, which looks like it goes right here. This is 5767, and it looks like the crystal goes down facing this way. So we should just be able to go like that. And with this, I am going to try using our little helping hand. Alright, I think that's about as close as we're going to get it to centered. Should be alright. Never actually soldered 2 PCBs together before. A little bit tricky, but I think we're getting it. We accidentally got a little bit of solder on this. Capacitor hole. Go ahead and clean and inspect this guy. Looks to be pretty good. I don't see any bridges on that side. And I can't really see that side too good, can you? And I don't see any bridges on that side either. Okay. Alright, looks pretty good. Can mark this off and move on to the next one, which is the crystal oscillator. Go ahead and place it there. 22, 22, and they go C1, C2. I don't believe ceramic capacitors are directional. Next is the IC socket, which goes right here. There is a dip in the silk screening, so I'm going to mark that with the socket, but really I don't think it matters with the socket because it just holds the chip. Oh, there's no via for this guy. That must be no connect, I guess. It's probably about as flush as we're gonna get. Next is the GIB 40 socket, which is there going to be enough room? Oh, yeah. There should be plenty of room for those caps. We'll just do that, and then till we get there, just because I want this thing to have pressure on both sides. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next step. Install the potentiometer, which looks like it goes right there. Sit in there nice and flush. I think that's probably about as good as we're gonna get it. Try not to put so much flux on that we'll get some in the potentiometer, because I have gotten flux inside a switch before and it sucks. Alright, that guy seems to be on there pretty good. Now let's try to get these little support tabs. Honestly, I don't even know if I'll be able to get those because there is a pretty big gap there. Maybe we can bend those tabs in just a little bit. Looks like we got the support tabs. Looking good so far. Probably about halfway there or so. Installed 3 monolithic capacitors, which C5. C4, which we got a little bit outside on. C4, C5, C4, and C6. Install 4 transistors. Which go right here. Alright, looking pretty good so far. I'm going to trim this leg right here because it's a little too close to that one for my liking. Alright, so transistors done. Now 10 microfarad electrolytic capacitors next, which definitely are polarized. And the negative goes on the negative, and the positive goes on the positive. We might have to bend that guy down, so I'll leave a little extra room so we can, if we need to. Negative on negative, and C8. Guess I should probably make it so you guys can see, huh? Alright, and now we should be able to bend this guy down, because I'm sure the screen or the chip needs to have room. That should be alright. Step 13 is the blue LED, which goes to diode 13 and positive to positive, negative to negative. I don't know how long to leave this LED. I should probably just put it all the way down, but we'll leave a little bit of leg so we can bend this if we need to. Hopefully that doesn't mess with the closing the shell, but it should be okay. We'll leave a tiny bit of LED leg in case we need to extend it. Everything. Alright, blue LED, and I believe we are supposed to install this next, but how the heck is that supposed to go on there? There is not room. Okay. First issue so far. Alright, this part does have me a little confused because this is where the digital display goes, but that's what it looks like. How are those supposed to go there? I think we may have gotten the wrong screen. Alright, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on this thing for a minute. Yeah, I believe we have the wrong screen. Yeah, look, they gave us... We got the wrong screen because on here on the instructions, it's a one-piece screen. So we're not going to be able to finish this thing. We can probably get it to work maybe without the screen, but man, that is so lame. So yeah, if we go up to, it says installed one piece's LED, install one piece's red, 4-bit common anode digital screen, pay close attention, and that is the part number, and this is the part number we have on ours, which is a completely different part. So they gave us the total wrong screen to go on here. That is so lame. Well, I guess we can try to finish putting this thing together and see if it just plays the radio without a screen. But yeah, I don't recommend getting this kit now. That is so frustrating. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can find one of these screens, I guess, for, you know, cheap enough. But we'll look in a minute. We'll finish putting this together. Oh, I'm a little bit frustrated. Okay, next is the DC socket. That's the best I can do. My helping hand doesn't quite open far enough for this. Hopefully I don't knock it over. Well, we were doing pretty good until that. I should have noticed that sooner, I guess. Alright, 100 microfarad. Well, now I'm a little less excited about this thing. I was a little bit excited before, but not anymore. I like joysticks. Alright, now we put the chip on, which goes in the same orientation. The little notch, the little notch. Next is the big chip, and there's a notch on this side, notch on this side. Hopefully none of the legs are bent on this guy, because these can be kind of a pain to get all the legs lined up. Alright, well that wasn't exactly easy, but I think we got it. It seems to be seated all the way. Install the antenna, which they say to put it on the back. I'm assuming we just put it on there and solder it. Well, hopefully that's what we do, because that's what I'm doing. That should be good enough. Ooh, it's hot. Seems to be nice and stable. And now we're starting to look like a radio, if only we had the display. Next is the speaker, apparently, and they give us this little tiny wire. I'm disputing on whether or not to maybe use a longer wire. We'll go ahead and use this one. It's what came with the kit. We'll see what we can do with the kit. We still recording? Yes. Guess I could have put a connector on there, but I can always do that later. Alright, now looks like we're at the time when we're supposed to put the shell on, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do a little test real quick. I will be a little bit mad if it doesn't work with the display, to be honest. Alright, I have one of these guys, and I'm just going to use the bench power supply to test really fast. And I believe the negative is the smaller one. We'll go ahead and double check really fast. Yep. Okay. Turn on the bench power supply. No, we don't want 14 volts. We'll go with 5 volts and 1 amp. And we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and turn on the power. And I'm assuming this is the on-off switch. And it works. So sweet. I don't want to get a copyright or whatever, but I'll just check it out one more time. The volume even works. And oh, this is to change the radio station. Which works, so at least the radio works. It's really lame that we don't have the right display, but at least we'll have a little radio we can use. So that is something, and at least we know we didn't majorly screw anything up. So now we can go ahead and zoom you a little out for this part. We can work on the cover, hopefully. Alright, just clean up our work area just a little bit. And start tearing into this part. So the speaker goes there. This must be the back side. And these are the sides and tops. And we have a whole little bag of screws right here. Go ahead and just pour that right out. And you could just leave this protective cover on there and it'd be like kind of like a wood thing, but I totally want this to be clear like it's supposed to be. This stuff will probably scratch really easily, but oh well, this kit was only, you know, a few bucks or whatever. I'm sure it will show fingerprints like crazy, but that's alright. Those really were a pain in the butt to take off. Is the speaker? The speaker must go on the back, huh? Like that. And this go on the front. There is where our button goes. Just like that. Guess we probably should have pushed our caps down as far as we can. I guess we will go ahead and try to do that really fast. See how clean this one really does look. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Alright. I'll try to get these two guys. One thing we should probably do is clean the back of this board really good. Alright, it's not perfect, but it's a lot more clean than it was, even though we got our pieces kind of dirty. Alright, those do sit a little more, a little lower, so that's good. Alright, we're just going to snug those up a bit. I think it's supposed to sit flush against the capacitors pieces. That goes there. And this isn't going flush because this speaker wire, so I guess we will resolder this from the other side. Alright, not the prettiest soldering job, but it's on there. These really are kind of tricky. See, the screw goes in there, and the nut goes in this slot. Like that. Alright, now it's starting to look like a little radio. I wish we had the display, but guess we are not getting that. We didn't solder the antenna up high enough, so it won't close, and that will be kind of irritating, so I do think I'm going to fix that. And just pull that up just a tiny bit. I don't know if it's going to be that easy, but we're going to try to make it that easy. Alright, will that be enough? Alright, we got our little radio put together, minus the flippin' display because they gave us the wrong display. I'm definitely going to email them about that. That's for sure. It probably won't matter, but... And I'm going to try to look for that part number too, and maybe I can just find one on my own. But yeah, at least we can listen to music. And we'll go ahead and give it another test. Just use the bench power supply. Try not to short those together. Go ahead and turn it on. 5 volts. All right, let's. Oh yeah, it works, but let's turn it down. It's really weird. It has a digital station tuning, which is kind of neat, but all right, cool. We can call that a win. Well, we can call it almost a win because the display is missing, but that's alright because it still works as a radio, and that's supposed to be its purpose. It's just no freaking display. I still can't believe that they would do that, but they totally did. Yep, that's definitely not gonna go right there. So. Alright, well, I guess we'll call that good, and thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it, and yeah, these little solder DIY practice kits are pretty fun to do. There's all kinds of different DIY solder practice kits you can get, and if you need to improve your soldering skills, these little kits really help out. So kind of a cool little clear radio that we built. I do wish I had the display, but I'm going to stop talking about that. And yep, thanks for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Go ahead and like, and I wouldn't mind a subscribe too. So, alright, well, thanks guys. Take care. Heck yeah.
But wait! There's more!
Alright, it's been a few days since our little radio build was finished. And since I haven't uploaded it yet, I did in fact find some screens. These are 4-bit common anode displays, and kind of sucks. I'm glad that I could find one, but it kind of sucks because they were like added cost to the radio, so that's kind of lame. I wish it would have just come with the right display instead of this one, but we'll go ahead and try one of these and see if it works. I think it will because it's the same amount of pins, and it said common anode, and these are common anode. It might be a little smaller than the screen that's supposed to go in there, but I think it'll work. So we'll go ahead and try to add one of these screens if we can. Oh, do they have? Oh, it looks like they have the same piece of plastic over it. Go ahead and try that. Well, since we got one of these screens, we'll go ahead and put it on and see if it's going to work. I think it will work, but we sure will find out, won't we? And then once we do that, I did want to make a few modifications to this thing because it is pretty nice having this little radio, but I do wish it was battery powered instead of only AC powered. So we're going to try to modify it to run off a couple 18650s, because that would be pretty handy to just be able to turn this thing on without having to plug it in. And we'll add a little charging board, and so we can charge the radio or swap out the batteries. And so I'm just thinking something like this will just maybe attach it to the bottom of the radio like that. Something. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but first thing is first, let's take this thing apart and go ahead and try this display out. Alright, we're all back apart. I think this will be okay to just leave that on there. My pins are a little bent, but should be alright. I think this screen is a little bit smaller than the one this kit probably came with. Alright, I guess let's go ahead and give that a shot. Alright, what do you think? You think that display is going to work? I think it will, but we'll find out right now. It does work. Sweet. I don't know if you can really see that. There we go. The display works great. Display works. Now let's try to figure out battery situation. And we are going to wire these in parallel. Positive to positive and negative to negative, and then we'll go to the charge board, from the charge board to the radio, and hopefully it will work. I think I'm just going to mount this board right here just like that. And we'll go ahead and use some good old VHB tape. Should hold on there pretty well. VHB is good stuff, man. We use an extra long wire, and I think we'll drill a hole in the bottom plate for the wire to go through, and then we'll trim this and solder it as we need to. Guess we can do a little test run. Well, that actually works great. That actually works great. Yeah, okay, we're running off battery. This should theoretically run off one battery, which it does. Nice. I just wanted 2 for more battery power. Now let's see. See if it will run off the USB-C. That would be nice if it did, without all the interference. Okay. It's not going to work. I guess while this thing's charging, it just has a lot of interference in it. Alright, let's go ahead and work on putting this thing back together. Alright, well, we got our radio put all back together with our display. Tried to make sure that the plastics were a little cleaner on the inside this time. I guess we can go ahead and test. Since we have it hooked up to the power socket, we can just use the bench power supply, which is kind of nice. And we are working. Good to know. So we can continue with the final part of the repair. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, at least what I think I'm going to do, is just VHB tape this right to the bottom and just have it set like that. And we'll wire these up. Great, the little nuts sticking up are keeping it from contacting. Alright, since we have a gap issue, just a little gap issue, I'm going to put something in between it, and we will use this old used up gift card. It has 4 cents still on it. Heck yeah. We'll just VHB this to that, and then this to that, hopefully. with that stuck to that, we should. Alright, and hopefully it's on there pretty good. Radio should stay up. Should be able to put batteries in. Now we just got to wire these guys. And hopefully that was the last wire. Doesn't look too bad. These are sticking out a little more than I'd like. Not too bad. Kind of goes with the theme of the radio. And we should be able to should work with one battery, which it does, and a second battery for more battery life, and we should be good to go, which we are. Heck yeah. Got the display working. Got the radio working, display working. We're on battery power, not plugged in. I'd call that a win. The only thing that we didn't do that I wanted to do is have it be powered by USB-C 2 without batteries, but this charging board caused too much interference in the radio, so we didn't do that. It's just battery powered or AC adapter, which I'm probably just going to use the battery powered most of the time anyways. Just was kind of annoying having to plug in an AC adapter just to use this little radio every time. So now I don't have to do that. And we're working. I don't want to play music too long because we'll get in trouble, but
Brand new.
it's working. So, heck yeah. We'll call that a win for this little DIY radio plus mod. And we did find a screen that would work, even though I think that's a size smaller display than the one that's supposed to go there. But that doesn't bother me, as long as I can see which channel radio station I'm on. So, alright, we'll call that a win. I even like how the battery's kind of heavy, so they keep it face down, so it's not going to tip over. But, yeah, kind of cool little radio. I'm glad I built it. Should get some good use. So, heck yeah. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Take care.